Hello guys, this is Oroth and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to talk about something that is a little bit of a scandal. I'm a little bit surprised that there has not been more outrage about this, and I'm going to explain to you what I mean about that. But the topic of today's video is armor and armor penetration. I'm going to tell you what armor and armor penetration actually does, but on top of that we will also take a look at some tooltips, and we will discover that the tooltips are actually not correct. They're not reflecting the truth about these stats. So let us go first here and look at my attributes, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. If we go here and take a look at my armor penetration, we can see that I'm currently a lot higher than the recommended for this difficulty. And when I'm higher than the recommended, I will gain some critical hit damage. And this reward is diminishing, so the further above I am the recommended, the less rewards I will get. But I have just talked about that in a different video about secondaries. But the topic of this video is to discuss what are these stats providing for us. And what's important to mention is that when we play in PvP, there are no limits for how high you can go with your secondaries and still have an effect, because your armor penetration, for example, will be compared with your opponent's armor, and that's what will determine how powerful your armor penetration will be. And some players, they have low armor, and then you don't need that high armor penetration to get the full value against those people. But if you play against someone with high armor, then you need a lot more armor penetration before you start to get bonuses. Now I'm going to show you the interaction between these two. And first we can read here what the text says on the armor. And on the armor here on the tooltip, it says that it will reduce all damage taken and increases blocked amount. So from reading this tooltip, one might think that whenever I put on more armor, I will take less damage. All types of damage will be reduced, because this is what the tooltip is saying. And a lot of people, they are investing a lot into upgrading their armor as high as possible. But that's actually not how armor works. Armor and armor penetration has two purposes. If we look at armor, for example, when you have higher armor than your opponent's armor penetration, it will increase your block value. So whenever you are blocking an attack, that attack will only deal 50% of the damage. And if your armor is higher than your opponent's armor penetration, this value will go up. So it will start from a base reduction of 50%, like the tooltip says here. And here you can see currently, if I would be 1143 higher than my opponent, I will get 17% extra damage reduction on top of that 50% whenever I block. And what's important to mention here is that if I start to take off some aquamarines, if I reduce my armor, you can see now that now I'm only 487 above, but I only lose 2% damage reduction whenever I block. So I'm at 65% instead of 67%. So I would say that you will break even somewhere around 500 above the recommended. And beyond that point, it doesn't really matter if your armor penetration is a lot higher than your opponent. So that is one of the interactions. That's when we talk about block chance. And the other interaction is the critical hit damage. So if we look here on my armor penetration, for example, as soon as I have higher armor penetration than my opponent's armor, I will start to get more critical hit damage. And the same thing is here. Let's say that I have 5500 armor penetration and my opponent in PvP has 5000 armor, then I'm 500 higher, and then I've almost reached the total bonus I can get from armor penetration against that single opponent. So if I remove some sapphires here, you can see that all of a sudden now I'm 1143 higher. I still almost get the same value. Let's take off some more sapphires. I take off another one, and now if I would be 487 higher, I would still get 45% critical hit damage. If I remove another sapphire, now we will all of a sudden see that I am below, and now you can see that the damage reduction from their blocking goes up by 10% if their armor is 168 higher than my armor penetration. So this means that if you're between 0 to 500 above your opponent, then the difference will be huge for each extra armor pen I would put in. But after 500 above, I almost get nothing. But of course, in PvP, you can meet opponents with both 3000 armor or 8000 armor. So of course, the more armor penetration you have, the more often you will reduce their blocked value and gain more critical hit damage. So this is what these stats are doing, and I would say that for the block chance, I think that this amount can go up to like 20% extra, so you can have a total of 70% more damage reduction whenever you block. And what's important to mention here as well is that to gain the bonuses from armor and armor penetration, of course you need a lot of critical hit chance to reap the benefits of the critical hit damage. And on top of that, you also need a lot of block chance to reap the blocked value benefits from the armor. The main takeaway from this video, of course, it's important that you understand what these stats actually do, but the fact that it says here on the tooltip that armor will reduce all damage taken when it's not the truth is actually kind of scandalous. Because especially when there's something that we spend platinum on and it costs a lot of resources to up your secondaries after a certain point, then we want the tooltips to be correct. I remember sometime 2 years ago, or maybe even longer, when we have this gem Blessings of the Worthy, where they actually changed the text. So the text on the gem when it originally released at launch was different compared to how it is today. And based on the tooltip of the legendary gem, the gem was actually a lot stronger compared to how it actually works. And I think that this is almost fraudulent, because this is something that people are getting orbs for. They spend a lot of platinum, and yeah, I mean, it's really bad, to be honest. So I really hope that they change this tooltip. I can understand that sometimes things get translated wrong, or that the tooltips might show something that is not 100% accurate. But when we talk about stats that actually cost a lot of resources to gather, in that case, they have to be precise. So that's my take on it. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts about it as well. So please let me know in the comments what you think about it, and let's see what happens in the future going forward. So anyways, that was everything for today. I just want to wish you a very nice day or a very nice evening wherever you are. And of course, to all of my clan members in Nyx, I would also like to say Voruk Nyx, Sholak Sol. So bye bye.